On the broadcast tonight, a new deputy is in town.
And the RHA gave students an outlet for their voices to be heard.
All of that and more right now on SUTV News. Thanks for joining us on SUTV News. I'm Patrick Ramsdale.
And I'm Marley Bowman. On Tuesday, RHA held their first President's Hour of the semester. The event is meant to be an outlet for students to make their voices heard and allow for an in-person discussion with some of the heads of each department in the administration. The panel included representatives from Dining, SUPD, and of course, Interim President Charles Patterson, just to name a few. Some of the issues brought to the administration's attention included parking on campus, dining services being understaffed, accommodations for students in isolation, and how campus plans to promote more diverse events and programs moving forward. If you're unable to attend the first President's Hour, there'll be another event in April in the inaugural NPR at 8 p.m. We are on week 6 of classes and everyone's stress levels are rising. Join the university's counseling center for a weekly virtual discussion of how to cope with stress. There will be a new topic each week related to coping with stress and 2 different day and time options to attend. The next virtual event will be held tomorrow at 1 p.m. and will end at 1:30 p.m. The topic of discussion will be time management and organization. Please email ccgradasst@ship.edu for more information and for the Zoom link to attend.
The Cumberland County Sheriff's Office warned their newest deputy. 15-year-old March Hench has lived his whole life with autism as well as a severe heart condition, but he's never let that stop his dream of entering law enforcement. This past Friday, February 18th, that fascination paid off with a little bit of help from the officers of Cumberland County. Hench got his wish when Sheriff Jody Smith pinned the badge upon him. Judge Matt Smith then swore Hench in, finally making him a deputy. For the rest of the day, Hench was able to spend time with fellow deputies, learning the ways of the office, meeting the K-9 unit, and plenty more. Do you have an idea that could be worth a lot of money? Well, you're in luck, as the Charles H. Diller Center is welcoming back Ship Tank. Inspired by the hit series Shark Tank, this event will offer students a chance to pitch their ideas in front of 6 judges for a chance to win $3,400 in Visa gift cards. Those looking to pitch their idea should understand that in order to win, your pitch has to be just as good, if not better, than the project itself. If you wish to throw your hat into the ring, Ship Tank will be on April 7th in Grove Hall Forum 101 beginning at 6 p.m. 2 people are dead following a house fire in Cumberland County. Emergency crews were dispatched to the house on Neal Road in Southampton Township just after 6 a.m. Wednesday for a basement fire. Crews arrived on the scene to heavy fire and were forced to make an exterior attack on it. The coroner was called to the scene Wednesday after fire crews discovered the bodies of 2 victims. The victims have not been identified, but state police are investigating the fire as a possible homicide. State Police Public Information Officer Megan Amerman issued a news release Wednesday stating that no other information will be released at this time. SUTV News will keep you updated on any developments.
When we come back in world news, an update on the Ukrainian and Russian conflict.
And President Biden unveils new sanctions against Russia. Stay tuned.
What's
going on this week in the slate?
Brady Canizaro has the latest.
Coming up this week in the slate, our news section will cover information on the upcoming SGA elections. Ship Life will be sharing the Mean Scorpio horoscope column, as well as a piece on the Math Modeling Club's recent COMAP competitors. Arts and Entertainment will have an article on the Black History Tribute, a feature on the weekly student artist, and a playlist and article featuring female indie artists for Women's History Month. Multimedia will feature a gallery for this week's home baseball games. And finally, our sports section will cover the track and field PSAC championships. Don't forget to follow us on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook at ShipUSlate, and be sure to pick up the next edition of The Slate Tuesdays on newsstands, or read anytime at theslateonline.com.
There is a lot going on in the world today.
SUTV's Colin Mays has an update.
After months of military buildup on its border with Ukraine, Russia invaded its ex-Soviet neighbor with a multi-pronged attack, threatening to destabilize Europe and sending shockwaves through the United States. A whirlwind of diplomatic efforts to stave off a Russian invasion in recent weeks failed to diffuse tensions that had mounted over months. The military invasion has already left dozens dead, prompting Western leaders to condemn Moscow and vow unity with Kyiv. Chris Nguyen has the latest from Washington.
Ukraine under attack as Russia launches an invasion of its sovereign neighbor. The unprecedented attack following weeks of heightened tensions and rhetoric amid the buildup of Russian troops along the border.
Putin began war against Ukraine, against the entire democratic world. He wants to destroy my country, our country, everything we've been building.
Russian forces advancing beyond the two Moscow-backed separatist regions in Donbass in the east, with troops reported in the southern port city of Odessa and near Kyiv, the country's capital. Multiple explosions now reported across the country.
I have just passport documents and some money.
Russian President Vladimir Putin claiming there are no plans to occupy Ukraine, with military actions meant only to protect the Russian-backed separatist regions. But world leaders say the attacks prove otherwise and are demanding for Russia to back down.
The target is the stability in Europe and the whole of the international peace order. And we will hold President Putin accountable for that.
As Ukrainians flee from the cities under siege, many moving west in hopes of finding refuge from the Russian assault, some are calling on the U.S. to take action.
Right now, the situation is in the Americans' hands. If Joe Biden, the U.S. president, will be tough with Putin, there will be more sanctions, will be more pressure.
In Washington, I'm Chris Wynn.
As Russian troops continue their invasion of Ukraine, Ukraine's president is concerned they have a specific target in mind. President Volodymyr Zelensky tweeted that Russian forces are trying to take control of the Chernobyl nuclear power plant. Just a few hours later, a spokesperson for Ukraine's state agency said Russian troops seized the power plant after management had left the area. Zelensky calls the move a declaration of war against the whole of Europe. In 1986, the plant exploded, causing catastrophic effects on the region. And Zelensky and other Ukrainian leaders worry that the current Russian aggression could lead to another disaster. President Biden has unveiled tough new sanctions against Russia after the start of the Russian invasion of Ukraine. Speaking from the White House Tuesday afternoon, Biden pledged to do all that he can to limit the effect of sanctions on the United States economy. But he also acknowledged that it's likely Americans will see rising prices at the pump in the months ahead.
As we respond, my administration is using every tool at our disposal to protect American businesses and consumers from rising prices at the pump. As I said last week, defending freedom will have cost for us as well and here at home. We need to be honest about that. But as we do this, I'm going to take robust action to make sure the pain of our sanctions is targeted at the Russian economy, not ours.
The UK also plans to impose sanctions against Russia, and Germany has stopped the progression of the controversial Nord Stream 2 pipeline following Moscow's actions. President Biden also announced he was moving more troops and equipment to strengthen U.S. allies in the Baltic nations, but he made it clear that U.S. troops would not be there to fight Russia. In addition, Biden held on to hope that diplomacy could still defuse the crisis, saying the U.S. would still be open to talking with Russia to avert an all-out war. The Queen is holding off on virtual engagements for the time being due to COVID-19. Elizabeth II is dealing with mild cold-like symptoms, according to a statement from Buckingham Palace. The 95-year-old monarch, who has been on the throne for 70 years, will continue with light duties. A source with ties to the palace says the Queen's ability to attend upcoming engagements will be determined in the coming days. Officials announced the Queen's positive diagnosis on Sunday. That's it for this week's World News. I'm Cullen Mays. Now back to Marley and Patrick at the desk.
When we come back in entertainment, we have a preview of this weekend's Intercollegiate Band Festival.
And one lucky Elton John fan will receive the experience of a lifetime.
We have more after the break.
You know, the weather's been crazy this week. Yesterday I was wearing shorts, today it's snowing. I don't know what's coming next.
Yeah, I mean, even yesterday I was walking around in shorts, and then I was at the lacrosse game, and my fingertips were purple from how cold and windy it was.
Well, let's see if Mike Donegan can get us any answers for this week's upcoming weather.
If the recent weather were a boxing match, we would have seen winter get knocked down once, twice, 3 times, yet it is still not going down without a fight. As tonight, a low of 30, but it will feel like we're in the low 20s. A winter weather advisory has also started at the top of the hour and will last until 10 a.m. tomorrow morning. We will see a mix of precipitation tonight. This includes up to a total of 3 inches between sleet and snow and up to a 1/4 inch of ice. Tomorrow, a mostly cloudy day with a high of 47 and some leftover rain in the morning that should cease as the day goes on. As we head into the weekend, we'll see another mostly cloudy day with a high of 39 and a low of 27. Looking at Sunday, a partly sunny and breezy day with a much friendlier high of 48 and a much colder low of 18. We'll be starting the new week off with a couple partly cloudy days with increasing temperature as the week goes on, before seeing a slight drop off in temp on Thursday with a high of 45. Then for Friday, we'll be ending the week and starting spring break off in the mid-50s. Speaking of spring break, yes, it is close and there are much nicer temperatures ahead, but we still have to deal with the weather at hand. Let's not forget about the winter advisory tonight. Prepare for some sleet and ice, and if you are a student and commute to class, please be extra careful tomorrow morning and drive with caution. That's it for this week's weather. I'm Michael Donegan. Now let's toss it over to Carson to give you all the latest in this week's entertainment.
The 74th Pennsylvania Intercollegiate Band Festival comes to Shippensburg this weekend. This band is an audition-based group that meets every year, being hosted at different colleges. This year, SHIP will host 20 colleges with guest conductor Richard Mark Heidel. Heidel is currently the director of bands at the University of Iowa and was the band director at Shippensburg from 1997 to 2000. Ryan Cleary, Ryan Lee Bohr, Cassie Oakes, Emily Osilka, Nick Snively, Thomas Stengel, and Nate Weidman will represent SHIP during the concert. The band will perform on Sunday, February 27th at 2 o'clock in the Lours Performing Arts Center. Admission is free to all who attend. After 2 reunion shows at the end of last year, Big Time Rush will be performing across the nation this summer. Called the Forever Tour, the group announced on their social media pages that they will be performing more than 40 shows across the country from June 23rd to August 20th. This news comes after BTR's first reunited last December, with 2 sold-out shows in New York and Chicago. In between that time, the group has put out a new single, with their next one dropping tomorrow, Friday, February 25th, showing fans that they're far from done from creating music. Tickets for the Forever Tour go on sale to the general public tomorrow. However, members of the group's official fan club can pre-order their tickets right now. It appears Britney Spears wants to add best-selling author to her list of accomplishments. People magazine is reporting the pop star has signed a massive book deal with publishing house Simon & Schuster. According to People, a deal worth $15 million is to write a tell-all memoir. However, there is no word on when her book could be released. The reported deal comes just months after the end of her controversial conservatorship, in which Spears is still in the middle of a legal battle with her father, Jamie Spears. She's also at odds with her sister, Jamie Lynn Spears, over her recently released book. It's almost time to say goodbye to the Yellow Brick Road as Elton John wraps up his farewell tour this year. However, the Rocket Man is giving a chance for one lucky fan to be there as his guest. The 75-year-old singer announced on his Instagram that one lucky fan and their guest could win an all-expense-paid trip to Los Angeles for his last show at Dodger Stadium in November. This includes VIP tickets to the performance and a backstage tour, merchandise, round-trip airfare, luxury hotel accommodations, and a personalized video message from Elton John himself. All you have to do to enter is donate to the Elton John AIDS Foundation. With every set amount you donate, you receive a corresponding number of entries. However, you can still enter without donating if need be. For more information, visit eltonvip.com. That's it for SUTV Entertainment. I'm Carson Devitt. Now back to Patrick and Marley at the desk.
When we come back in sports, lacrosse starts their season at home.
We have more after the break.
Women's lacrosse opened their season on Wednesday night at home against Holy Family. In the first quarter, the Raiders would score 6 goals, and they would carry that same momentum throughout the game as they would win 15-5. Alana Cardacci and Hannah Seifred would lead the Raiders offense, combining for a total of 8 goals, and SHIP's defense was able to limit Holy Family to just 1 goal in the final 27 minutes of play. Lacrosse is back in action on Saturday at Seton Hill. Game starts at 1 p.m. After the Bucknell tune-up last weekend, 3 Raiders athletes were named Athlete of the Week. Leah Graybale once again set records on the track, winning the 200 and again setting her own personal record with a time of 24.73 seconds. Eric Kirk was named Track Athlete of the Week for the 2nd time this year, the 5th straight week that a Raider was named Men's Track Athlete of the Week. Kirk set an NCAA provisional qualifier of 21.97 seconds in the 200 meter. And Alec Rideout came away with the Men's Indoor Field Athlete of the Week award, setting a career best in the NCAA provisional qualifier in the weight throw at 58 feet and 9.5 inches. This is Rideout's third career Athlete of the Week honor, winning his first in his freshman season back in 2015. Track heads to Edinburgh this weekend for the PSAC Indoor Track and Field Championships. Following some close races and some strong performances, the men's and women's swim team wrapped up their busy weekend, each placing 6th at the PSAC Championships. For the women's team, senior Madison Briner finished up her college career as a 14-time conference place winner. This includes 3 top 5 finishes. With her performance over the weekend, she became now the 8th all-time at Shippensburg in the 100-yard freestyle and 200-yard freestyle. For the men, the highest scoring event went to seniors Matt Bochansky and Andrew Hale for the swims in the 200-yard breaststroke. Bochansky and Hale both finished with a 2-minute and 5-second swim. This brings the 2021-2022 swim season to a close. Baseball continued their long road trip in North Carolina as they took on Lenoir-Rhyne. And unfortunately for Ship, it has gone the same way as the rest of their season has, as they lost all 3 games, losing by at least 5 runs in each game. Baseball returns back to Ship this weekend for the home opener on Sunday. Men's basketball has been busy this week with 2 games played so far and 1 more on Saturday. We pick up action with Monday night's game against Mansfield. In the first half, and it's Jake Piss who's going to pull up from 3, and he's going to nail it. Raiders get the momentum rolling early. Just a minute later, and it's Jake Biss yet again. Is he going to get it? Yes, from 3. Mansfield didn't do a great job on the scouting report with Biss as he was tough all night long. And in the corner now, and oh no, not again. It is Jake Biss yet again from 3. 26 points in the first half from Biss, and he would end the night with a career high of 36 as the Raiders would win 94-82. Another key performer from Monday night was Dom Sleva, who also set a new career high in points with 28 and also had a double-double in the first half. Moving on to Wednesday night's action as the Raiders traveled to Shepherd University, and it would be much of the same from Monday night as the Raiders would roll past their PSAC rival, beating the Rams 79-65. Women's basketball also took the trip down to West Virginia to play Shepherd last night. The Raiders broke ahead early and maintained the lead throughout the game. However, Shepherd's Abby Beeman scored 28 and helped propel the Rams out front to take the win 79-73. Despite the Raider loss, they have locked themselves in for the 4th seed in the conference playoffs and will host Lock Haven on Monday night. Game time will be determined depending upon how the men's teams are seeded after Saturday's games. Another banner will be hung up in Higas Fieldhouse this Saturday. The field hockey team won the 2021 National Championship, making it their 5th title in the past 8 years. During the halftime of the women's basketball game this Saturday at 1 o'clock, the team will be recognized for their victory and accomplishment. And at 11 in the Tuscarora Room, there will be brunch with the champions. Registration for the brunch can be found online at the Ship Raiders website. That's it for sports this week. Now let's send it back to Patrick and Marley at the desk.
When we come back, a major traffic jam caused utter chaos.
Stay tuned. There were no cars moving on I-81 Tuesday afternoon. At approximately 2:30, 3 cows fell out of a trailer and started roaming around the highway. This forced both sides of the highway to be closed for over a half an hour. The troopers arrived on the scene near the High Street exit to wrangle the cows. All cows were corralled one at a time and were returned safely.
You know, we both actually got caught in that traffic, and it was the weirdest thing, you know, sitting in park on the highway for half an hour, and then all of a sudden traffic keeps moving. No sign of anything. You're just confused where the traffic came from, but it turns out it's cows walking around.
Yeah, I ended up sending my family a text because they all lived in the city. Like, if you guys want to know what it's like living in central Pennsylvania, this is what it's like. This was the real reason why I was late to work today, and they all thought it was absolutely hilarious.
Well, that's it for SUTV News. I'm Patrick Ramsdale.
And I'm Marley Bowman. Don't forget to follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram at SUTV News, and check out our website at sutvnews.org.
We'll see you next week. Good night.